Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mr. iPod here with a homework help video for lesson 1.1 part 2, irrational square root. So we talked about this today in lecture. We practiced it during the lab on basically how to approximate irrational square roots. So I'm going to work a few examples here for you on your homework to kind of get you going there. So let's start with number 3. So I'm going to zoom in here to number 3. Look at number 3. All right, the very first step, you have your steps in your lecture notes. So the very first step is to draw a number line. So I'm going to draw a number line, very first step. After we draw a number line, we're going to ask ourselves this question. What are the square roots that are greater than and less than the square root of 90? So what are the perfect square roots? Remember that 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. So the perfect square root that is less than the square root of 90 would be the square root of 81. So we got the square root of 81, which is 9, and we have the square root of 100, which is 10. Okay. After that, we're going to find the middle. We're going to find the middle of the bottom, or the middle is plural because we need the bottom and the top. The middle of 9 and 10 is actually 9.5. Okay. And then the middle of 81 and 100, you can average that, adding them and divide by 2, or there's a couple of shortcuts. You can say 81 plus 9, which is 90 plus a half, and that would give you your middle of 90.5. Or you can say 9 times 10 plus a half, and that would give you 90.5. Just make sure you always remember to add the half. Now we're in good shape here. Now you're going to pick a side and shade. So you're going to look at your square root of 90. Is 90 less than 90.5, or is it greater than? Well, the number 90 is less than 90.5, so it's actually less than. So we're going to shade this side in because we don't even need it. We no longer need that side. So now we've kind of narrowed what the square root of 90 is. We've narrowed it down from between 9 and 10 to 9 and 9.5. Okay. Now from there, you are going to determine the distance 90 is from each one. 90, the number 90 is 0.5 numbers away from, it's half of a number away from 90.5, and it is 9 numbers away from 81. Okay? Now, I want you to think about this. If this was the exact middle of 9.25, okay, whatever number you have smaller, whatever the distance, basically, from, since we're talking about the square root of 90, it's 0.5 from here, and it's 9 from here. If whatever number is the smaller number of these two, it's going to be after the 9.25 or before it. Okay? In this case, it is going to be after 9.5 because 0.5 is less than this. So we can actually go ahead and shade this portion out as well. So now we know that the square root of 90 is between 9.25 and 9.5. Okay? And then you can say, well, is it going to be closer over here or closer there? And obviously it should be closer over here to this side. So we would say the square root of 90 is approximately 9.4. Now, would you get 9.4, Mr. iPod? Well, between 9.25 and 9.5 is 9.3, 9.4, on and on and on. Remember the tape measure effect. It's just like the tape measure. The tape measures don't have numbers on there. It's just assume that you know those values. Okay. So my final answer for the square root of 90 would be approximately 9.4. Now, if you got 9.3, are you okay? Absolutely. This is approximation. You're approximating it. Okay? And if we were to go to a calculator, even in this video, and we were to say, okay, what is the square root of 90? 9.48. I said 9.4, but this is an exact answer. We're looking for an approximation because there's going to be many times you're not going to have a calculator for that. Okay, moving on. This is what we fully expect to see on your homework for tomorrow. All right. Let's go to this square root of 54 one. Okay. First step, draw a number line. Okay. So I'm going to draw a number line. After I draw my number line, I ask myself, what are the perfect square roots that are greater than 54 and less than 54? So again, go through them: 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. 64. So the square root of 54 falls between the two perfect square roots of 49 and 64. So we wrote those down. So we know it's between 49 and 64, which is 7 and 8. So we know the square root of 54 is somewhere between 7 and 8, But let's narrow it down even further. So we know the middle of 7 8 is 7.5. Okay? 7.5 is right in the middle. And then how do we determine this middle up here? Well, you can average these, or there's a couple shortcuts. You can say 7 times 8 is 56, and then you just add a half. So 56.5. And that's the square root of 56.5 is 7.5. Now from there, pick a side and shade. Is 54, is it less than 56.5, or is it greater than? Come on, say it. This is like Dora the Explorer. Is it less than or greater than? So it's actually going to be less than. Very good. So it's less than, so we're going to shade this side in. We don't even need this side anymore. We no longer need this side. Now we've narrowed it down between it's 7 and 7.5. Okay? Now determine the distance the number is from both. So 54 is 2.5 from 56.5, and it is 5 numbers away from 49. So I'm actually, when I'm saying the distance, how many numbers is this from that? It's 5 numbers. How many numbers is 54 from 56.5? It's 2.5. Now remember, if you make the middle of this at 7.25, we all know between 7 and 7.5 is 7.25. Okay? Remember what I said up there? Whichever these numbers are smaller, you're going to shade the opposite side. So because 2.5 is smaller than 5, you're going to shade this side in here, because it's going to be 54 is going to be closer to 56.5. It's 2.5 numbers away compared to 5 numbers away here. So it's going to be in this window right here. 54, I'm going to put it right here. My educated guess, the square root of 54 is approximately, let's go with 7.3. Circle my final answer. Is it okay to check with a calculator? Absolutely. Check it with a calculator and see if you're, let's say the calculator, we got something absolutely crazy. You would want to kind of go back and see what you did wrong. 7.34, okay? And we're just kind of looking to the nearest tenth here. All right? So, that is that one. Now let's look at one more. Let's go down here to the square root of 18. Square root of 18, first step, draw your line, or draw your number line. I'm going to go a little bit quicker through this one. What are the perfect square roots that are less than greater than it? That would be the square root of 16, which is 4, and the square root of 25, which is 5. In the middle of that's 4.5, and stop the video at any time, okay? And in the middle of here, 4 times 5 is 20 plus a half, or the other way is 16 plus 4 plus a half. Good. 18 is less than that, so I'm going to shade this right side in. I don't need it. Then determine your distance. Well, 18 is 2 away from this, and it's 2.5 from here. Now, this is where this really gets good, because this middle number is 4.25. Which number is smaller? This number is smaller, so it's going to be on this side, so you can shade this side over here. So it's going to be somewhere around here. Those numbers are really close. If they were the exact same, it would be exactly in the middle, but because it's not, it's going to be about right here. So I'm going to say the square root of 18 is approximately 4.2. Did I use a calculator to get it? No, but can I check it with a calculator? Absolutely. So if I say the square root of 18, I got 4.24. So again, you see it's really, really close to that 4.25 because those numbers are so close right here. But it's just below it. Okay. Now, pre-algebra class, you all have 1 through 10. Okay, you guys have 1 through 10. And then my algebra class with this, you guys actually have 1 through 20. All right. So I'm going to work a couple on the back. So pre-algebra people, you guys can just finish this front side up. I've worked 3 for you. And then algebra people, I'm going to work maybe 1 or so on the back. So looking on the back, let's go with number 17 right here. I'm going to work number 17 for you. And that would be me showing you 4 problems out of the 20. So that's a decent amount. So first step, I'm going to kind of shoot through this kind of fast. Let's go with, so draw your, or actually I may work 2 more. So draw your number line. What are the square roots greater than and less than? Well, the square roots that are greater than less than 47 are the square root of 36, which is 6, and the square root of 49, which is 7. So in the middle, 6.5. 6 times 7 is 42.5. That's the middle up there. Pick a side and shade. So 47 is greater, so I need to shade this side because I no longer need it. Then determine your distance. 47 is 2 away from 49, and it is, what we got, 4.5 from there. Now, if this is middle is 6.75, if that's the middle right there, whatever number is smaller, it's going to be in that window. Since 2 is smaller, it's going to be on this side, so you can go ahead and shade in that side, because 47 is closer to 49 than 42.5 is. Okay, so it's going to be between this window. I'm going to just say the square root of 47 is approximately 6.8. Circle my final answer. You can check that with a calculator. Going up here to 12. 12 is actually interesting. Just kind of brought it to my attention just because a lot of you can automatically see, and eventually down the road, you won't be doing this much work to calculate. You're just going to be able to do it off the top of your head. So if I'm looking at the square root of 99, well, I know off the top of my head the square root of 100 is 10. So this should be right around 9.9. And in the future, that's what I'm talking about. Not on this assignment. You won't be able to do that. Let the screen adjust a little bit. But you won't be able to do that on this one. I want to see all the work on this one. But you should be getting a general idea of, oh, this is going to be that. And that's the idea behind it. So draw your number line. We know it's between the square root of 81, which is 9, and the square root of 100, which is 10. I say 9.5. And again, we do this work to get the practice, because the more you do it, the better you get at it. And you got to show your work. Again, math without work is Kool-Aid with no sugar, and ain't nobody having that. What's the middle of that? It would be 90.5. 99 is greater than 90.5, so we can shade this side, and we'll pick this side over here. Now to determine your distance, we're one number from here, and we are 8.5 from here. So if I know this is 9.75, whichever side is smaller, pick that side and shade the other. So this one's 1, so I'm picking this side, and I can shade this. And obviously 99 is extremely close to that, so I'm going to say the square root of 99 is approximately 9.9. Now, if I get my handy-dandy calculator, I come over here and I say, what is the square root of 99? And I'm going to get 9.94. That concludes this homework help video for lesson 1.1 part 2, approximating irrational square roots. Hope this helps, and make sure you get this done. Pre-algebra 1 through 10, algebra 1 through 20. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.